Hello and welcome to Flax on Snax, Snax with an X, just like Flax. Today it is July 4th in America, which of course, America's birthday, independence from England. And what better way to celebrate that independence than with a review of some English snack foods. Actually, these are British snack foods, to be perfectly correct. These came from the subscription service Universal Yums, which every month sends you a box that contains a bunch of snacks from a country or group of countries. And this month, or actually the past month, June, it was from the United Kingdom. So I have several snack treats over here. These are all, kind of salty snacks, chips, crisps, that sort of thing, corn snacks. And I will be trying 4 items here on the program today. So let's get into it. So let's take a look at the 4 snacks that I will be trying today. We have Golden Cross, Johnny's Pickled Onion Rings, pickled onion flavored corn snacks. So sort of like the UK's equivalent to Funyuns, I guess. These were produced in Livingston, which is in Scotland, a little west of Edinburgh. We have another Scottish treat here, Mackies of Scotland. Honey and mustard flavored potato crisps. Of course, we have to recall that our English friends do call them crisps and not chips. These are made in Perthshire, also in Scotland. Then we have Kent crisps. One of these days I will figure out the direction in which I'm holding these things up. Ashmore cheese and onion. These have improved flavor, apparently. So these are British crisps. Ashmore cheese is kind of like a cheddar. And so these are from Kent, which is in the southeast of England. And finally, Welsh potato crisps. And this is the most interesting one, so I'm probably gonna save this for last. A lamb and mint flavor. So that'll be pretty intriguing as to what exactly that is gonna taste like. All right, a little bit of water to cleanse the palate. Let's get into it. So starting off with Johnny's Pickled Onion Rings. That is a very pickled aroma, certainly. Oh, they're actually quite small. Only that big. It's like a big Cheerio, but I would not pour these in a bowl and put milk on them. Ooh, wow. Oh my goodness. Ooh, wowzers. Okay. Well, it says crying out with flavor on the front here. And there's definitely something to that. The vinegar is quite strong with this one. So the texture is similar to like sort of like a cheese puff. Like it's that level of puffed corn. Not as hard as a Cheeto. Definitely that lighter puff, airier puff. They break under the teeth very quickly. I must say I'm not getting a ton of onion flavor, which as someone who really likes onions quite a bit, I actually am sort of disappointed by. Very vinegary. So the pickle really kind of overwhelming the onion. This does have onion powder, but I'm not getting that much onion. I wish there were more onion. So, they're not bad, but could stand some more onion flavor, in my opinion. But I do love onions, so take that for what it's worth. All right, moving on to snack number 2. So for snack number 2, gonna go with our other Scottish treat here, Mackies of Scotland, honey and mustard flavor. British mustard, of course, known for its pungency. So we'll see how that goes. And I'll be interested to know kind of how much honey I really get from this, or whether it's just kind of straight mustard. Not as pungent of a smell as I would have anticipated, but let's see. I like the shape of the crisps here. It's really good, like kind of like a potato shaving, you know. I like a good thick cut chip or crisp. So let's see. Well, I really like the texture. And they're not too greasy. It's a nice kind of like, I don't know if these are air fried or a unique, gentle cooking method. They do brag about the dry texture. So, but I will say, maybe not a ton of seasoning flavor on here. It definitely has a dry texture. Oh, okay, there's the mustard. It is a little subtle. It's not, you know, overwhelmingly seasoned. It's just kind of, you get this sort of light mustard burn. So texturally, I really like these. Flavor-wise, the flavor could be a little more present, in my opinion. There's a nice mild kind of mustard burn. I don't know that I get a lot of honey. It's a little sweet, so okay, I guess that's the honey mustard. But they're good. I would get them again. And you know, maybe if I didn't eat them directly after some pickled onion rings, maybe the flavor would be a little more present. I did try to clear the palate with some water, but that doesn't always work perfectly. Pretty good, Mackies. All right. It's 2 snacks down, 2 to go. All right, so for number 3, we are finally going to depart Scotland and make our way back down to England, all the way to the south coast in Kent. Ashmore cheese and onion, traditionally matured Ashmore farmhouse cheese made by cheesemakers of Canterbury. I have been to Canterbury. I should have gotten some cheese while I was there, apparently. All right. Ooh, now that is a pungent aroma. Definitely getting the cheese out of that. So, oh, hello, refrigerator. So nice of you to join us. Okay. Wow. Holy cow. Full-bodied flavor. I would agree. I would say that this is the closest I've ever had to really recapitulating the flavor of cheese. You know, you think about, you know, a cheddar and sour cream, Ruffles, that kind of thing. You know, chips that have cheese on them in America. It's usually a very elevated flavor. It's really kind of amped up, right, with the, you know, the salt or the MSG or whatever they're putting in there. This is kind of understated, but still, you know, quite pungent, because I think they're using a fairly pungent cheese. But I mean, it really tastes like the cheese. If you think about candy, how often, you know, you have a fruit flavored candy and it doesn't really taste like the fruit. It tastes like, it has its own kind of flavor that is sort of maybe kind of reminiscent or evocative of the fruit. But, you know, imagine a grape candy, right? The thing that I think of when I think of a grape candy is not what I think I'm gonna get when I pop just a grape into my mouth. This is very much like I'm eating a piece of cheese. It really tastes like cheese, not just like a chip that tastes like cheese. It tastes like cheese, and I think that is pretty cool, the way they've managed to do that. Am I getting a lot of onion off it? Maybe not so much. I would say primarily I'm getting the cheese. But again, I think it's pretty cool that they've managed to make this taste so naturalistically cheesy. Just not something you get from potato chips in this country very often, I don't think. Also a pretty good crunch, and not extremely greasy, a little greasier than the Mackies, but you know, not super oily either. Improved flavor. I wonder what the flavor used to be. Yeah, A little bit of onion, not a lot. The cheese really kind of takes it over. It's a strong, fairly strong cheese. But yeah, doing that good of a job making it taste like the cheese. I'm impressed. So good job. Kent Crisps? Kent Crisps. Ramsgate. Kent Crisps. Good job, Kent Crisps. All right, one to go, and it is the weirdest one. So we'll see how that one tastes in just a second. All right, so the most intriguing of the four, lamb and mint flavored potato chips. Now these are Welsh potato crisps made from potatoes born and raised in Wales, but according to the label, they are made in Scotland. So, okay. Interesting. I've never been a huge fan of, fake meat flavors on chips, although sometimes they work pretty well. Lay's had a crispy taco flavor a couple years ago that I thought was pretty effective. Lamb is a pretty subtle flavor in my experience. I like lamb, but I'll be curious to see how well they replicate it here. And I've never really had lamb with mint. I usually have it in like Indian food. Let's see. Also a very dry kind of crisp. I guess that is the Scottish way in particular. Wow. Oh man. You really get that mint. That is for sure. Okay. There's definitely a meatiness to the, seasoning blend that they've included on here. And this is labeled as suitable for vegetarians. So I presume that the way they've recreated it does not involve any actual lamb. So it does not make me think of lamb as such. I've had enough lamb to have a pretty clear taste memory for what lamb tastes like. And I would not describe this as tasting overly like lamb. It tastes like red meat. Perhaps it tastes like mutton. I don't know, I've never had mutton. But there's a definite meatiness to it. And then a pretty significant mint component. Now it's not a sweet mint, so I think it works okay. It could be, obviously, if you leaned towards sweet mint, you'd risk it being kind of toothpastey, and then it would just be completely disgusting. As a savory mint, I do think it works. It is surprising when it first hits you how minty it is. But that kind of freshness of the mint flavor does translate, I think. The meatiness is a little more subtle, so I don't know that it translates quite as well, but I'm sort of glad that it's not overpowering either. I mean, if you ask me which of these I was going to order again, I don't think it would be these. Probably be the Ashmore cheese and onion ones. But for what they are, I think these are actually not too bad. Again, you might be surprised by how minty they are, but it's definitely a more herbaceous mint, not a sweet mint. So it does play with then kind of the earthiness, the sort of the richness of that kind of undertone meat flavor. Actually works pretty well. I'm surprised. Yeah, so not too bad, Taylors. Good job. So on the whole, a pretty good selection of British chip crisp snack treats here. I would rate them, I think, Ashmore cheese and onion first, because it does such a good job of tasting like cheese. I'm actually going to put the lamb and mint second. I'm gonna put the Mackies honey mustard third, and the pickled onion fourth, but all these are pretty good in their own way. I had to put this at the bottom just because I found it really just very, very heavy on the salt and the vinegar. So, you know, to an extent that it wasn't painful to eat, but it was almost like, wow, I'm gonna like start crying here. Which may be what they were going for again, because it does say crying out with flavor on the package, so it's hard to, you know, come down too hard on them for it, but, you know, I can only rate them based on how I enjoy them, and I think that was the order in which I enjoyed them. The Mackie's honey and mustard, I think, could have moved up to second if there had been a little more mustard flavor. It was a little subtle, so the lamb and mint just edged it out. But definitely the Ashmore cheese and onion I would put first. Very good job of tasting like cheese and like a real cheese. So, you know, nice work. Kent Crisps, you are the winner of this little non-competition. So that is it for this episode of Flax on Snax, Independence Day edition, looking at British snack foods on Independence Day. Stay tuned to this channel. If you do enjoy these videos, feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you want me to do a particular thing on this show, a particular snack, feel free to leave a comment, a suggestion of what I could do in a future episode. But until next time, I've got some more chips to eat, so we'll see you later.